It's 11 p.m. and these are the headlines. The President of the Republic chaired a meeting of the Council of Ministers devoted to issues of interest to citizens. The head of state ordered a raise in the tourism allowance to €750 for adults, while the Hajj allowance is set at $1,000. Algeria is closely following recent developments and accelerated changes in Syria and urges unity and peace among all Syrian parties to preserve the country's security and stability, as well as the unity and integrity of its territory. And from Tizi Ouzou, we will take stock of the first section of the highway project linking the province to the East-West Highway is expected to be completed by 2025. The details later on. Prices in Morocco are rising at a dramatic rate. The gas bottle will be at the cost of no less than 10 dirhams from next January, another measure from the Makhzen regime that will heavily affect the daily life of the population. Welcome back, everyone. Today, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, Minister of National Defense, presided over a meeting of the Council of Ministers devoted to several sectors and issues related to citizens' interests, according to a statement released by the Presidency of the Republic. During this meeting, the President of the Republic reviewed the tourism and the Hajj allowances, in addition to the progress of the railway projects and the 2024-2025 agricultural plan. Explains.
The President of the Republic gave a number of orders, instructions and directives during today's cabinet meeting. The President of the Republic decided to raise the tourist grant to €750 for every Algerian adult traveler and to €300 for every minor Algerian traveler starting from 2025. Thus fulfilling one of his most important commitments to Algerians aimed at improving welfare standards, so that an executive decree is issued specifying the methods of receiving this grant. Secondly, regarding the Hajj grant, the President of the Republic decided to raise the Hajj grant to $1,000 for every Algerian pilgrim starting from the next Hajj season. Another file was on the table, the damages caused and compensation for the floods of last September in some provinces, and after the Minister of Interior presented a comprehensive report that included compensation for 1,564 families for damage to household and electronic furniture worth 250,000 Algerian dinars for each family, and reimbursement of 24 financial aid. As for the rehabilitation of 2,960 homes, 700,000 Algerian dinars were granted to each family, in addition to rehousing 344 other families. The entry into the final stage of inspecting and classifying the damages of farmers was also recorded to beginning compensation through the concerned provinces according to the insurance cases and the extent of the damages. Regarding the agricultural plan for the year 2024-2025, the President of the Republic directed instructions to develop an accurate forecast that provides the agricultural product to the national market in a sufficient manner first, then move on to export the products that have known a surplus this season. The President also appreciated the efforts made in the agricultural sector, the impact of which has become tangible. As for the progress of railway projects, the President ordered the acceleration of the implementation of modernization plan, the establishment of railway networks in line with the mega projects with high economic returns, as the top priority is the railway line towards Tamanrasset starting from the capital and the connection with the neighboring African countries. In a related context, the President ordered the recently established major maritime works complex to immediately begin removing sand from the depths of small and medium ports, such as the ports of Boudis in Jijel province, Bijaya, Annaba, Mostaganem, Ghazawat, Kap Jannet, Tinas and Dillis. The Council of Ministers concluded its proceedings by approving presidential decree covering areas of international cooperation.
And following the decision taken at the meeting of the Council of Ministers concerning the increase of tourism and Hajj allowances, citizens were eager to share and express their satisfaction with this new measure. Najaf Tayar.
In a move to enhance the welfare of Algerians, the President of the Republic has fulfilled one of his key commitments by announcing an increase in the tourist grant starting in 2025. That is, a grant of 750 euros to adult Algerian travelers and 300 euros grant to minor travelers. This decision has been met with widespread joy and relief among the Algerian people. We thank the President of the Republic for raising the allowance. 750 euros is way better than 100. It is very useful to the travelers and will lead to prices drop in the black market. We watched on the Algerian television channel the President of the Republic's decision regarding the travelers' allowance increase, which made us, the Algerian people, very content, since it creates better conditions for the travelers abroad. Raising the allowance to 750 euros is amazing for the citizens, and the country that decision being taken made me very happy. It is the first time, I think, in Algeria's history that the traveller's allowance gets raised up to 750 euros, which will contribute eventually to the improvement of the citizen's life conditions and his purchasing power. Same enthusiastic approval was expressed concerning the Hajj grant, which the head of the state raised to $1,000 for every Algerian pilgrim, starting from the next Hajj season. The increase in the Hajj allowance is a decision that will facilitate the Hajj rites for the pilgrims. $1,000 will be quite sufficient for any pilgrim to complete his Hajj or Umrah. This move echoes the government's resolve to uplift the living conditions of the Algerians, nurturing their well-being with every step.
And in addition to the tourism allowance, the meeting of the Council of Ministers also discussed the public works sector's projects, including the one linking Tizi Ouzou to the east-west, spreading all over 48 kilometers distance, with the first section almost completed. Progress report with Najh Tayar.
The Tizi Ouzou motorway mega project, which includes 25 kilometers of secondary roads, is nearing completion, with work continuing on its final major viaduct. Once operational, the motorway is expected to bring significant benefits to the region. The responsible companies for this project have considerably increased their workforce and equipment to speed up the pace of work. We are working on a 3x8 brigade system, which has enabled us to make rapid progress. The first 10-kilometer road of the project has already been realized, so the public can use it. We're planning a program to complete the remaining 19 kilometers, which will link the Al-Mizan to the east-west highway as soon as possible in 2025. The motorway connecting Tizi Ouzou province to the east-west highway features 7 intersections, 2 tunnels, and 37 engineering structures, including 21 viaducts. Its construction and monitoring have demanded significant technical resources. Our workforce is made up of 60 people working as iron workers. We supervise the work, checking the quality of the concrete, the formwork, and even the pre-stressing, as this viaduct is the longest on the project. We made the first part by successive corbellin that we pour on site, and the second part is pre-stressed beams by the pretensioning track. We're working hard to deliver this project in the first quarter of 2025. Now 75% complete, the strategic project crosses the provinces of Dar al-Mizan and Ait Yahya Moussa. Efforts are being sustained to ensure the infrastructure is completed on schedule. We're in the process of corbelling. The usage of the best quality of materials was checked for the best results. All the efforts are deployed for the perfection of this project and its delivery on time. The work on the Al-Mizan tunnel has made good progress, particularly on the civil engineering section. All that remains is the pavement section. We'll be starting to install the equipment very soon. This motorway link will enhance access to surrounding areas and reduce traffic once completed, bringing significant socio-economic benefits to the country's central eastern region.
And in light of the recent developments and the rapidly evolving situation in Syria, Algeria, and in a communique released today by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, stated that it is following with great attention the recent developments there and urges unity and peace among all Syrian parties to preserve the country's security and stability, as well as the unity and integrity of its territory. Algeria reaffirms its support for the brotherly Syrian people, with whom the Algerian people share a common history, founded on solidarity and mutual aid. Algeria calls for dialogue between the Syrian people, inviting them to give priority to the interests of Syria, a brotherly country, to preserve their national assets and resources, and to look to the future to build a united country with institutions established on the will of the Syrian people, far from any foreign interference, concluded this statement of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And at least 30 Palestinian citizens were killed this evening, including children and women, following Zion's bombardment that targeted Gaza City and the Al-Bureij camp and Nusayrat camp and the central Gaza Strip. The death toll is expected to rise and exceed the 44,700 as the Zionist entity keeps blowing up residential buildings and hospitals all across the Strip. Earlier this evening, a paramedic was killed after being targeted near Al-Abda Hospital in the northern Gaza Strip. CAS continues to rally support from the four corners of the world, from international bodies and organizations to public and political figures. Diplomatic victories are also numerous. They enshrine the right of the Sahrawi people to self-determination, a principle always reiterated amid the meetings. Wanil Bahri.
From Cape Town in South Africa to Lisbon in Portugal to Madrid in Spain, the voices of human rights defenders, political leaders and trade union members reaffirm their unconditional support for the legitimate cause of the Sahrawi people. At this annual meeting, we reaffirm our support for the just cause of the Sahrawi people, a position confirmed by the European Court of Justice last October. We work together to uphold international law. We are participating in this meeting to reaffirm our support for the Sahrawi people and their just cause. As trade union member, we are here to defend the right of the Sahrawi people to protect their resources and their land. The mobilization of the Portuguese Parliament confirms this commitment, also supported by the Joint Committee bringing together Nigeria and South Africa. After 10 years of legal struggle, we have concluded that Western Sahara and Morocco are two separate countries. It's important that the European Union, European countries and their partners respect this historic and important decision.
وعلى الشرائك الأوروبية احترام ذلك القرار الهام والتاريخي.
The just Sahrawi cause remains a fundamental principle shared by all those who defend human rights and the values of freedom. It brings together free consciences from all over the world in common support for the struggle for self-determination of the Sahrawi people.
And as if the Moroccan people weren't suffering enough from the expensive and difficult life, the Mahsen regime has just introduced a new burden. Indeed, from next January, Moroccans will have to pay 10 dirhams for a bottle of gas, a decision that is likely to exacerbate the current situation.
A new spike in butane prices has been announced for January 1st, 2025 in Morocco. The price of 12 kilograms gas cylinder will increase by 10 to 60 dirhams, with smaller cylinders also facing similar hikes. And this is part of the Moroccan government's plan to gradually phase out subsidies, with annual increases of 10 dirhams expected until 2026. This new price increase is causing concern among Moroccan households, particularly those with limited incomes who are already struggling with the overall rise in the cost of living. The same situation occurred previously with the increase in diesel prices, which led Moroccan transporters to organize numerous strikes. However, their demands were not met. Protests are erupting daily across Morocco with the sole objective of rejecting a policy that benefits the wealthy at the expense of the people. These unpopular measures are fueling growing public anger, and the pressure on the Mahsen is becoming increasingly unbearable. Yet it persists in ignoring the widespread discontent. This unrest could shake the already weakened Mahsen regime, which is further destabilized by the ongoing internal conflicts.
And that was it for today's news. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.